Hello, internet. So, for a while now, I've been talking about how I'm going to film video blogs talking about my Europe experience, and so I finally want to do that today. So, this video will be the first of 3 talking about Europe. I'm going to kind of do it by country because I went multiple places in each country for the most part. So this one is going to be the first one, and it will be about France. So we flew into Paris, and we actually didn't stay in Paris first. We drove, we took a bus to Bayeux, which is kind of a smaller town in France. It took about 3 hours, and it was really cute. It was one of those towns, it still kind of looked like the Europe you would see in like old movies. It was very adorable. Lots of like just cute little shops and restaurants and stuff. You can pretty much walk anywhere within a short period of time. I had a lot of really good food in Bayeux. I remember specifically the last day we were there, I had like a really delicious crepe. There's also quite some humorous stuff in Bayeux, like the sign which is depicting their version of Tex-Mex, which if you know anything about Texas or from Texas like me, it was quite hilarious. The reason that we went to Bayeux is because there and a lot of the towns and stuff close by are where a lot of the events of D-Day took place. So the first full day we were there, so the day after we arrived, we spent all day just kind of like touring a bunch of the D-Day sites. We went to 3 cemeteries, German, American, and English, I think. We went to Pointe du Hoc, which was really, really cool. We went to Omaha Beach, which was cool, and we went to a couple other places. I actually didn't know a whole lot about D-Day, to be honest, so this was probably one of my favorite days just because I really learned a lot that day, and I got to see a lot of cool things as I learned about it, which was a unique experience. It's always much cooler to see a part of history in person than to just read about it or look a picture of it online or in a book. So that was probably one of my favorite days just because of all of the learning that I did. The day after that, we spent the first half of the day in Bayeux still. We went to the Bayeux Tapestry, which was really cool. It was this like handmade, embroidered, like humongous tapestry, which as somebody who does arts and crafts and knows how to embroider, I was very impressed by that. By the way, that's Daisy's ear in the corner. And I just thought it was really pretty and really unique how much work went into the tapestry. And then there was like this little street fair going on with like food and just people selling stuff, and so I got some things. That's where I ate that crepe, and so that was a lot of fun. After that, we drove the other 3 hours to go back to Paris, and we stayed there for I think 4 days. The first day, like the day we got there, we didn't really do a whole lot. We stayed in a hostel, which I wasn't particularly crazy about. Like, it's not that the hostel was bad, it's just I'm very introverted, and so I kind of had a hard time coping with sharing a room with 9 other people. Even though I knew the other 9 people and I liked the other 9 people, it was just still really hard for me to cope with that situation. And then the next day we took a walking tour of Montmartre. I think I said that right. Which is like kind of the part of Paris that still looks very much like old Paris. Like they said that a lot of movies that are filmed in the past that take place in Paris are usually filmed there because it still kind of has that look to it. And so it was a really pretty part of Paris, but the only part I didn't like about it was very hilly, and since we were a walking tour, I had to go up a lot of really steep hills, and it was just really hard for me. It made me very exhausted, but I did get to see some cool stuff. It started over in the red light district, and of course it was during the day, so it's okay, nothing too weird was happening, but I did get to see the Moulin Rouge, which was really cool because I really love that film. There was some really cool graffiti spread throughout Montmartre? I'm not really sure. and just a lot of really pretty scenery. After that, we made our way to an art museum, and I don't know how to say it correctly because I don't know French, but it's the one that had the portrait of Van Gogh, so that one. And then that night, a couple of us went to the Lovelock Bridge, and one of our friends in the group put a lock on there, and then we made our way over to the Eiffel Tower, and that was probably one of my favorite things I did in Paris. It was really cool because I've always wanted to see the Eiffel Tower, and we kind of got there right when it was starting to get dark. So when we first got there, it just looked normal, but then as we got closer to it, the lights came on because it was getting dark. So I got to see kind of like both versions of it, and it was really pretty with the lights on. It was so gorgeous. I had an amazing beignet underneath it, and I didn't go up it because I'm afraid of heights, but just seeing it in person was fantastic. It's a very beautiful piece of architecture, and I'm really glad that I finally get to see that because I've always wanted to see the Eiffel Tower. The next day we did another walking tour. This one was kind of over in the area by where Notre Dame is located. It went further out, but I don't really know the area that we stopped, but we walked for a while. Notre Dame was beautiful. We didn't see the inside that day, we just kind of started there at the outside where the center of Paris is. But that was a cool tour. We got to try some really good gelato. There were a lot of really pretty sights there, but because we did 2 walking tours in a row, we were really exhausted by the end of that one, and so we just kind of got the rest of the day off. So we went back to the hostel and kind of relaxed for a little bit, and then that night, students could get into the Louvre for free from like certain hours, so we went there, and of course, it's huge, so you can only see so much, but I did see the Mona Lisa, which was the main thing I wanted to see. I saw some other cool pieces of art, and then we went down to another section and looked at the Napoleon apartments, which that was really cool. And by that point, it was getting close to closing, so we left. I'd like to explore that more one day if I ever go back to Paris. And then the next day was our last full day, and we had the whole day off, so group of us went back to Notre Dame and actually toured the inside. So beautiful. I think the inside of Notre Dame was my favorite part of Paris. It was just gorgeous. You could feel things, you know what I mean? It was absolutely beautiful. And then I got some souvenir shopping done because there are conveniently a lot of souvenir shops over there, and I got some work done for the project because this was a study abroad, so there was work to be done, so that was great. I got to stand on the center of Paris, so that means I'm gonna come back one day. That was pretty much the extent of France. My overall impression was kind of it was my least favorite country. Bayeux I thought was just really cute and adorable, and I really liked the atmosphere there. Paris I wasn't too crazy about. It was just a little too busy for me. It was kind of dirty. I didn't like as many of the people I ran into, which I know is kind of a stereotype for there, but from my experience I wasn't super crazy about the people there. It's definitely somewhere I want to go back one day, but maybe for like 2 or 3 days max, and then I'll be good, because there are still some things I would like to do in Paris. I would actually like to explore more of like the countryside of France, and more places like Bayeux, because I really prefer that over Paris. So that was France, and stay tuned for parts 2 and 3 where I'm going to talk about Germany and Austria in one and then London in the other one. So see you in the next video.